A recent Gallup study finds the obesity rate in this country is at 27%. It's on track to be higher than last year.
The cover story in the current issue of The Atlantic is called "The Cure for Obesity: How Science is Engineering Healthy Junk Food." What? David Friedman is the author and a contributing editor of The Atlantic and joins us at the table. Hello, David Friedman.
Hi there.
So you see the two phrases, healthy and junk food. They do not seem to go together. What do you mean?
Well, it's true, usually they don't, but they could. The fact of the matter is food companies know how to make the junky food that people love somewhat healthier, lower in fat, sugar, and salt. They have techniques for doing it, and we need to push them into doing it.
But there's a thing in the Sunday Times just yesterday that said that even if you offer healthy food, the people don't buy it.
And that's a big part of the problem. And McDonald's and other companies have discovered this the hard way. If you say, hey, look, here's a healthier alternative, the people who eat junk food stay away from it. So what you actually have to do is make it healthier, but don't tell them you're making it healthier.
Wait, but is the problem simply that food companies know how to create something that tastes good to you, regardless of whether it's healthy for you or not? And why can't they create things that taste good to you that are also good for you?
And they could. And in fact, there's
Then why
absolutely no
don't
reason.
they?
Okay, they don't because it's a lot easier to make junky food that tastes great, but it's not healthy. It's harder to make it actually be healthier.
And more expensive.
And it could be more expensive, but not necessarily. The trick is it may not taste 100% as good as the other stuff. So these companies have to push it. And guess what? They are great at getting us to buy foods.
We've got the cover of The Atlantic, though, but I have to challenge you a bit on this because you've got a big picture of a double hamburger here. It might be a Big Mac, it looks like to me. I've had one before. I know Gail has too. Charlie, not so much. But it's called The Cure for Obesity: How Science is Engineering Healthy Food. But you're not saying eating the junk food is the cure for obesity.
So I'm not telling anybody who's eating fresh produce today to switch to junk food. What I'm talking about are people who are more or less hooked on it. We all seem to agree people are hooked on junk food. So when anybody says the solution is let's switch to healthy produce, what are we talking about here? They're hooked on junk food. Let's work with junk food.
Yeah, you're saying make the junk food people should be part of the conversation. What's the reaction you're getting to this article? Because I would imagine you're ticking a lot of people off.
And so I expected to get some pushback, but I've never seen anything like this. I'd say it's running.
Your article goes further than that, though. You take on Mark Bittman from the New York Times, who has waged a campaign against processed food. You say in your article there are no studies that show that processed food is bad, but I think most people assume that we should get away from eating processed foods.
Yeah, and by the way, as I spell out in the article, I eat a lot of healthy foods. I shop at Whole Foods. Anyone who can do it, who can afford it, I think that's great. The poor obese, and they're disproportionately obese.
But the point that everybody seems to be trying to make is that if people think you're suggesting that junk food